Welcome back to Any Given Monday. Mark, you really realize how big my forehead is when I pull my hair back like this. Whoa, Nilly, that thing. Losing some hair, getting old. Whoa, that's not it.
Boy.
That's not it.
Whatever light you use there too is cast directly on the forehead.
On my forehead. Look at that thing. You could put a fucking movie on that thing. Whoa. Wow. How are you, brother?
Good to be back with you for another Any Given Monday. Mark Baldwin and Ryan French back for a Q&A on Friday. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to talk about. And at the top of the hour, we might as well mention that Ryan will be going to LIV Indianapolis next week. His media credential has been approved for what is most likely the last LIV event, at least for this year. I mean, that's being generous.
Yeah, I think that's being generous.
How do you feel about attending the last LIV event potentially ever?
I thought about it a lot yesterday, and you try your best to not think about the 5% of Twitter that is so pro-LIV, it's out of control, and like that tiny niche that just beats the shit out of anyone who says anything. And yeah, like I don't watch LIV, but do I want it to die? I don't think so. I don't no, because I think the PGA Tour needs competition. It needs to change. Obviously, no one cares about it for the most part. I don't know. That's like, I definitely don't want it to die. Do I care if it dies? I don't know that either.
We're all feeling some strange emotions.
Yes. It's like, I don't know. Like, and it will be, I'm most interested to, I said this to someone I talked to a lot, Joe, a guy named Joe, and Twitter golf is not the real world, right? Golf Twitter is not the real world. Like, we're so wrapped up in golf. And I said this when I went to Michigan last year, the LIV event. Everyone I saw there doesn't care. They're not in the middle of a fight between the PGA Tour and LIV. They were just like, oh, yeah, Phil Mickelson and John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau are an hour away. It's something to do this weekend. Let's go. Just as they would for the Buick Open when it was over there. So it'll be very interesting for me to see the fans and see, is there any remorse? Is there any like, oh, this sucks that it's the end? Any sadness, or just like, hey, dude, I'm going to come hang out and see what it is. It's I came last year and I'm coming again this year. So it's like, I don't know how. I know how golf Twitter feels, but that's not real life. And so I want to see what everyone else feels like. And it very much feels like it's crumbling, right, Mark? Like the Rahm report that it's James Corrigan said, he's trying to get out. Everything I've heard is he's pretty unhappy. And if he goes, I thought about this, Mark. The irony is, by all accounts, he signed with LIV thinking that would be the final straw for an agreement, right?
No.
You don't believe that?
No.
Okay.
He did not. He signed for the money. And he said as much.
Yes.
There's a lot of writers who like to make, and rightfully so, it's an interesting idea that he wanted to be the bridge between the tours, but he did not have the idea that he was going to be the sole driver of unification. It was just a massive pot of money that he couldn't turn down.
Yeah, fair enough.
But continue. Sorry to shut that down.
Well, that ruins it, because it would be very ironic if he was the bridge that ended LIV, right? Like, he leaves and then everybody's like, oh, if he's gone, it can't work. And it's
well, and again, there's been a lot of speculation that may have been part of the calculation, but I think it doesn't really matter what he left for. Here we are, where we are, and right now all the players, I mean, with what has happened with the DP World Tour this week, saying we are not going to be issuing the same releases next year that we did this year. There will be, also it's a new landscape. It's a new day.
Yeah.
And basically they said to LIV players, you're either in or you're out right now.
Yeah.
It's Danny Ocean to Linus at the beginning of Ocean's 11. You're either in or out right now. And there are a lot of players who have signed up by, I think the DP World Tour actually released the field list for first stage. I haven't looked at those, but if I'm remembering correctly, Rye, there was like dozens of players from LIV who have signed up for DP World Tour Q School.
Yeah.
So right now the ships are at port and Titanic 2.0 is leaving. The passengers there have a chance to get off and go dock on another ship, but you got to go now.
I think it says a lot that someone said this on Twitter after I put up that Caleb Surratt and Bubba Watson are playing well this week on the DP World Tour. And someone said it's quite interesting that they went from New Jersey to Denmark back to Indianapolis in back-to-back weeks. I think it says a lot that they are concerned that they don't have a place to play next year. And they were like, oh, you'd like to give me a start in Denmark? That seems more than reasonable to go New Jersey, Denmark, Indianapolis. Of course, I would love that. And they're both playing well. So, it seems, I don't know. Davies,
I just want to be clear too that, when I say Titanic 2.0, I actually think LIV not being backed by the Saudis is a massive unburdening of what held them back from a fan perspective, and really could actually gain an American foothold that it couldn't before because of the new connections that it could have from a financial standpoint. I would love to see that as a player. I would love to see there being another place for talented players to go play. But it just seems like the writing is really on the wall right now. And maybe Bryson goes down with the ship as the metaphor continues here, but it feels like that is an extension of his YouTube channel. And it's like, he's going to invite some players from LIV to play a tournament on YouTube every week, and we're going to call it LIV.
Yeah, I agree. I will be interested to see what my receptionist T Davies posted a picture of the now famous Alan Shipnick talking to security guard and Greg standing behind. It is hilarious. Like, I wish I would have kept more tweets and timelines of how we were called LIV shills forever. Like, writing about the first article, one of the most controversial articles I ever wrote was about Chase Koepka. It was super early. It was at Fire Pit, and I was just like, I really like Chase. I wrote an article about, obviously it was about the Brooks. The goal was to get Brooks, but that he had done this whole thing and made this decision and grinded to go to thing, and it is what it is. And I mean, the reception was not good. And ever since that, we've been called Saudi shills way more often. Every time someone comes at me, I go, just show me the tweets that I was such an asshole to LIV. Like, just show them to me. You can go up into my Twitter account. You go on my profile. There's a little search there that only looks my tweets. Put any word in there you want. Mickelson, Rahm, Hatton, LIV, anything. I challenge you to find like a really disparaging tweet about LIV. There isn't. I don't watch it, and it's boring, and no one cares. Yeah, that's all true. That's factual. It's not. And again, I criticize it too. But I wonder what my reception is. I understood. I still do understood why. I hope that if I was in that position, I would say no. But to have, in Rahm's case, 300 or 600 or 400 million put in front of your face I would love to say that I'd say no. I'm not sure I would. And so if I'm Harold Varner, I definitely would not say no. There's no chance.
That's what you've said consistently from the beginning of
Yes.
LIV. And I remember so many tweets and so many conversations that we've had on this pod where you said we all have a price. And
All have a price.
it is totally understandable as long as you were upfront and you did what Varner did and you just said, look,
Yeah.
it
See
is
you later.
generational money. I can't turn it down.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
You know, you understand that you're going to sacrifice, let's say, your legacy or your reputation in some cases, but there's a price that you just can't turn down. You've been consistent on that from the beginning.
100%. And again, if I was Rahm or Rory, Rory turned down a lot. Tiger turned down $1 billion, evidently, or nearly $1 billion. Like, I wish you would hope that Rahm would be able to turn it down. Harold Varner, like zero. Like, yes, he was wealthy. But he didn't ever have a win. He had like $4 million in winnings or $5 million, which is plenty. But whatever they gave him and whatever he's made is 5, 6, 8 times that. And he didn't have anything guaranteed. He didn't have a PGA Tour win, so he's fighting for his card year to year. And when you're whatever he was when he left, 28 or something, $5 million is not enough to live carefree for the rest of your life. So I have zero problem with Harold Varner or James Piot or any of those guys. Even look at Brendan Steele and Cam. Cam didn't have a win. Like, I'd love to say I'd probably say yes. If the Saudis came tomorrow and offered me $10 million for Monday Q, I'm gone, dude. I'll see you later, brother. I couldn't sign fast enough.
Not me. I'd be here kicking it around in the Platte Valley Pro-Am for the rest of my life. All right, let's get into questions on that note. We're on the topic of LIV.
Yeah.
This question is give me 5 predictions on who you think will 100% leave LIV. We won't be able to do that. Nobody can get in the 100% category here, but I'm curious to see who you think that's on top of mind for.
Yeah, the top of the list, and it's because he's reported on the most because he's the biggest name is Rahm. Like I've talked to people around him. I have some connections to people around him, and he's not happy. Can that change? Yeah, of course. Like, O'Neill resigns and Rahm brings in his own guy. Who knows, right? There's a million scenarios, but as it stands now, he's definitely top of the list. I think flushing it, saying, kind of having the pulse. You can say what you want about flushing it. He's had his pulse, his finger on the pulse of LIV for the last, for a good portion. He hasn't in. He's good friends with Richard Bland, and it seems like no one's happy, and understandably so. Top 5. Here's what I'll do. I'll say a top 5 of the people that matter. Bryson, obviously. Rahm, obviously. After that, I really like Cam. That's definitely like, if you're the PGA Tour, is it like take it or leave it on Cam? Like, he's not, maybe.
Cam Smith?
Cam Smith.
Yeah.
And then Neiman. And then, dude, I don't know.
Hatton?
Yeah, Hatton's super entertaining. I would guess in today's golf, do you think this, Mark? Do you think Hatton is more popular or sells more tickets than Cam Smith would?
Oh, yeah, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Unless not in Australia, but everywhere else, yes.
I think Hatton might be 3, right? Like Rahm, Bryson. Like, if you could only take 3, that would be the 3 that I would take.
Hatton has to be one of the most entertaining players in the game today to watch.
Agreed.
I would absolutely pay money to go watch him play golf,
100%.
and to have him mic'd up and to be able to hear the things he says
would be unbelievable.
He might be the most entertaining player.
Yeah.
Just Harold Varner. I want to say that Thomas Peters did an interview with Dan Rappaport earlier in the summer that I don't think I ever talked about, but did you ever listen to it?
Mm-mm.
It was really good. And he just talked about golf. he was kind of resigned to the fact that he might be done and it might be over, and he couldn't see himself going back on the grind and playing, a full schedule again. And
Mhm.
he was just very honest and humble. It's a worthy interview to check out. I thought it was quite refreshing.
Mhm.
But I think you can look at this in a couple of categories. The Caleb Surratts,
Yeah.
you give those guys an off ramp. That dude definitely thinks that he can play his way into the PGA Tour in a year.
Mhm. Yeah.
Tom McKinnon,
Puig.
right?
Yeah, Tom.
Puig, right?
Yeah.
Like those dudes, I think they're in a category where like they have to be thinking long term. They're young guys. They're playing incredible golf, and they're just being hindered by being on LIV
Yeah.
going forward. And
Yeah.
then you have another category of player, the Paul Casey, maybe the Ian Poulter,
Ride that shit out.
Graham McDowell, like those guys probably go down with the ship.
Yeah, 100%. They're like, where do I sign? This sounds great.
I mean, Bubba Watson said, I didn't hear him say this, but I saw a post that he said, I think it was on your,
not sure
on your post
today.
today. That he wasn't sure he was going to have a place to play next year. So, yeah, I mean, if you're
Jason Kokrak, you just ride the shit out of LIV 2.0,
right
till those checks stop.
But I got to think Neiman, 9 wins, like he's got to be thinking, how can I get off on the dock and get on another boat?
Yeah. I don't know who tweeted this picture, but it was Mito hitting balls. You think Mito left in order to get back to the PGA Tour and have his suspension stopped early?
I doubt that, but I do think what else, like after a year of not playing, you probably get pretty bored.
Yeah.
You have to do something.
Yeah.
There's nothing will ever compare to the adrenaline and the stakes that you get playing pro golf. So yeah, he's probably making a comeback.
Yeah.
All right. How about this?
Go ahead.
Move on to Tyler's question. How are the PGA Tour America's guys feeling about the talk that they could potentially lose their tour? Where could they end up?
Yeah. I think it's probably, if the America's Tour goes away, and I think there's a good chance in 2028 it does, it's probably really good for the players. First of all, no one thinks they're going to be, even if you're on that tour playing like shit, no one wants to believe they're going to be on that tour. So they don't really care enough to have an opinion on it, right? Like no one's like, oh, in 2028, I'm going to be on the America's Tour. They're like, yeah, dude, I'm not going to be there. So do whatever the hell you want. Second of all, I've said this many times, there is this pressure on pros to feel like they have to go someplace. And a lot of pros cannot afford the America's Tour. It's just out of question. It's Mark Anguiano. I guarantee you, if he could do it all over again, he would never go to Canada. He's at that time what I called the best player without status. He's making money. He's dominating pretty much everywhere. Not dominating, but he won the Colorado Open, like making very good money in the mini tours, was just very hard to do. He went to Canada, had a bad year, and blew through everything he had. And it basically started the end of his career. He would 100% still be playing if he didn't do that. It ends a lot of players' career because there's this pressure. The fact is, I've heard rumblings that, it's possible that they give a few spots to the KFT through mini tours. That's what's best. It's what's best. It's the European system by far is the best. You have the Nordic Tour, you have the Clutch Pro Tour, you have all these little mini tours that are regionalized in Europe, and the top 3 or top 5 get on to the Challenge Tour, some sort of status in the Challenge Tour. That's what would be best for players. So the Americas going away is not an issue. If that's the one, if I could choose any tour to go away, 100% be that one. I think, Mark, you can speak to this because you've played on all these tours. The only tour that was worth going to that the PGA Tour created outside of the United States was the China Tour because there was a shitload of money there.
Yeah.
That's it. And the players sucked.
Yeah.
On the bottom half of the tour because they were all Chinese players and they couldn't play. So that was the only one that was worth going to. All the rest is just set money on fire.
Which apparently has changed quite a bit. I talked to some Challenge Tour, Hotel Planner Tour players who are going to play in the 2 co-sanctioned HP events in China, which have the biggest purses of the whole season. They're at the end of the season. And they said that there's still the mandate from the China Golf Association that I think it's slightly just over half the field have to be native born Chinese players. But so many of those players since the start of PGA Tour China have developed and gone, many have inspired another generation who have gone off and played college golf. And now it's a pretty stout place to play.
Yeah.
Pretty competitive place.
But I mean, the purses were like 2 or 3 times the size of Canada at the time, weren't they, Mark? I mean, they were like, they weren't
that high, but they were much higher. Yeah. Like 1.5x, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So no one thinks they're going to be on a tour like that in 2 years. And so it's not a big deal if it goes away. 0. It's not much. It's probably beneficial overall.
All right, Ryan, any golfers who use their mouths to hold their glove or they take glove off, are they the most disgusting people on the planet?
I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know this was a thing. I mean, I guess I probably ripped off my thing like this. Never. Right. I've never done it. I mean,
have you ever walked around with your glove in your mouth like
That's
you're
insane.
some kind of wolf carrying a kill?
That's insane. That's insane. That's nuts. I
haven't seen that. I think I've maybe seen that with a couple of players, and Charlie Saxon was one of them. But there aren't many people who do it.
Wow.
But
China's, I was going to bring up Charlie in China talking about making some money. I was going to text him while we were talking to ask how much money he made there.
I think he still has. I think he still has a small fortune in a Chinese bank over there.
Yeah, he has a wing on his house named after some course he won.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, two points to that question. One is, I think people who use their mouth to take off their glove or hold their glove have no fear of germs whatsoever. And 2, are they the most disgusting people on the planet? Well, if you think that's true, you've probably never had a toddler, 5-year-old or a 6-year-old whose hands are constantly in their nose and mouth and just moving back and forth between them.
All right. This is a question is for you. The DP World Tour Q School first stage 10 event entries are out. A lot of Americans in the field. Didn't see Mark's name. Is it something he would do over the next few years? Are there any of your fellow countrymen? Oh, okay. Let's just start with your Q School plans, Mark. Mark's gone to the European Q School multiple times to start, but go ahead.
I would absolutely go sometime in the future. I mean, there's not many years left for me. This year, I considered it briefly, but we have our second little Baldwin due in November. So it doesn't make sense for me to bring a new little Baldwin into the world and then immediately just say to my wife, see you in a year. I'm going to be spending 30 weeks overseas.
Yeah. Have you ever had a baby in Kenya? Because I'm going to get into that event.
Yeah. Our first, the little Baldwin number 2's first trip is South Africa when they're a month old.
This is a funny story. For those that are listening, Brian Regan is this stand-up comedian. I assume people know this. And he has this bit about playing with a divorced friend, and the wife goes, well, does he have a new girlfriend? And Brian Regan's like, I don't know. I know he has a new driver. So my wife is a crocheter. That's what she does. That's her hobby. That's her mini tour thing. She sent a text to Sarah and said, what color would you like the blanket that I'm going to make you, the baby blanket? And she said, blue. And Steph says to me, did you know they're having a boy? And I was like, I think so. And I was like, did Mark tell you? And I was like, probably, maybe. I know he has a new driver.
I know he's hitting the shit out of that AI smoke.
Yeah, I know he's been in second at the Pratt Valley Pro. Okay, so yes, you would go. Mark is considering timing, like whether he goes.
I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
And I thought, I like that Bayonet golf course up in Monterey. And that they have a new first stage site at the Bayonet course.
Okay.
First thought of the day, Honey, we'll see.
Okay.
All right. Next question. You control a
Yeah.
somehow non-controversial
I like
fund
this
the
question.
size of the Saudi PIF, and you get to reorganize pro golf.
Mm-hmm.
Cook.
I mean, I would, if you're going to do I would love to bring back rabbit days. The PGA Tour used to fill half their field with a qualifier, and it's the most democratic. Obviously, it doesn't make a lot of sense anymore, but from a marketing standpoint, but it would be very cool. I think a hybrid between that and what the PGA Tour is overly protective of their members. You can just be in fields for so many reasons. Eliminate some of those, so you still have the stars on a consistent basis, but those stars rotate out faster than they do on the PGA Tour, and having a more open field. Pro golf has become more and more closed door. I would go back to having it more open. And more worldwide. I think you could do this across the world, but would it work? I don't. Probably not. Probably wouldn't work. But if I had a fund like that, that's what I would do. If you had $5 billion, I wouldn't do $40 billion or $1 million purses. That's what I wouldn't do. I'd do $5 million purses and have plenty of good players and tell good stories and have an open field, or 10 million, whatever would keep some of the stars. That would be my ideal tour. I just the
Would it
fact
be a
is
tour?
that
Would you start your own tour, or like a breakaway league, or would you just kind of work within the existing system?
I mean, I guess if I could take over the PGA Tour, I would do that and just make it a more open, true relegation.
Monday Q makes hostile bid to take over PGA Tour and oust Brian Rolap.
This is the time to tell everyone that we are going after Fenway Sports or whatever the private equity group is, and we're trying to buy them out and then take over the PGA Tour.
What a dream it would be for Monday Q to buy LIV.
Oh my
to be the
gosh,
lead
wouldn't that be
investor in
great?
LIV.
Oh.
And
Oh,
we
that'd be so-
dictate the terms on which they'll play.
It
It would be $1 million arm in
Yeah,
every country they play in. It would be
so good.
basically big break in every country they play in.
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting there's been a lot of talk about national opens, the importance of them. I mean, anybody who's played an Australian Open realizes the prestige of the event, but how the prize fund doesn't match up. And
Yeah.
KFT used to go to Australia. They did away with that. A lot of guys would get their status by going over there with conditional status early in the year and playing well. Just finding a way to make national opens like the Australian Open and the Irish Open or the Argentina Open, things like that, more important. I think I would pump a bunch of money into those so that the stars would show up just on the basis of money alone. I would also, I would want all of the big mini tour events to have enough money so that the players who played well in them could afford to get through the rest of the season and afford to go to Q school. So I would bump those a lot, like the really good state opens, the best mini tour events that are going to produce the next generation of players, especially in lieu of that America's Tour might be going away. But I think I would try to work within the existing system if my only goal was to improve professional golf, not to use my self-important or improve my standing and my self-importance and place myself above the game.
Yeah. Very well said. Okay, we're gonna end on this. You can add to it. For those listening, I'm currently in a detached garage that was a workshop for the people that we bought this from. We have our offices here. My wife's next door working, and we're building an apartment for my mother. Mark, would you let your mother live in an apartment right next to you?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Actually, that would be great.
That would be great.
That would be great.
Yeah, for younger kids, it would be great. My mom is a wonderful human being, and of course, I'm more than happy to have her.
You can judge based on Ryan's preface here that he does not share my
Oh no, I love my
enthusiasm.
Mother. Like crazy. This is hopefully my mom never listens to this, but my mom says we're having someone do the porch or do the thing, and she says, She says, I show her a drawing. Okay. Now, granted, we haven't talked about it, but we're going to pay for this, And she goes, there's no porch. Fucking porch. I'm building you an apartment. What are you talking about? And then they came over and they are able to tie our water from our house into this water. And they said, oh, yeah, it's going to take a minute for the hot water to get over here, but it's going to be fine. My mom goes, how about a washer and dryer? I go, Mom, they measured today. You're literally 52 fucking feet away from my washer and dryer. You just walk
He wants to give you the space that you deserve.
Yeah, no, I understand. But we're on a Monday Q budget over here. So yeah, my mom's moving in eventually. She's a wonderful.
Oh my, okay. That's fantastic. Steve Shale just came in with a last minute question.
Yeah.
Will you wear a Trump style hat? Ryan French was right about everything next week.
That would be funny. It would be funny. It would be funny.
We talked about where some LIV players may end up.
Yeah.
Where are all the bots that attack you going to end up? What are they going to do with their accounts?
What is Pro Golf Critic going to do? Are
they going to tweet about the South African tour? They're going to.
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know. They're going to tweet. I don't know.
Their entire identities just.
Yeah.
I don't know how they transition.
I know.
To a different cult.
I know. Flushing it's kind of doing it. He's making a transition. He was very pro LIV, but he's never been that far out there, like defend anything, do anything. Right. Like, and he has an inside scoop and he is burning him down. Like, not burning him down, just tweeting out factual stuff that's happening from the inside.
That's the thing. If you love something, you should criticize it. You should be able 100%. To criticize it. It's your obligation to do so. And I think he really genuinely was passionate about it. And now he's been let down. He's disappointed. He's getting the inside scoop. He's seeing how many people have really gone all in, taken a risk and been burned. Yeah. And he's saying this is not okay. Way you should operate if you really care about something, not that you propagandize it.
That is such a great point, Mark, because it's a lot of I criticize the 200. Sometimes people will go like, God, you complain. Yeah, because I want it to be successful and I love it. And I grew up watching it. And it is a huge part of my life, obviously now, but even then as like a hobby and watching it, like my relationship with my dad was surrounded around golf and the PGA Tour and talking about it. Like, I love it. So when they're doing stuff that I don't agree with, now in this position, I'm going to criticize it. So, that's a very good point. And I think that's where Flushing it is. Now he's like, man, this sucks. I wanted this to be successful. Friends of mine went to see it be successful, and it's not anymore. And this is not what I wanted for this. And so, again, he's not tweeting out any stuff that, like, fuck those guys. He's just like, hey, here's the facts. People are not being paid, and players are unhappy, and this event is canceled, and they're still selling tickets, and it's a fucking nightmare. And that's it.
I'll say where the LIV bots have somewhat of a point, and it's that they often come back to what will you do? What will you do? What will you talk about? What will the spiciness level within the golf media discourse be when LIV is gone? It is a two-way street.
100%. We have had
the content's been amazing.
Podcast amazing. Yeah. And it would like Alan tweeted it, and I quote tweeted is like, I want LIV to go on and I want players to stay because we just did a half an hour pod, 22 minutes of it was talking about LIV. Like, it's good for it's great for the content game. I don't even remember golf Twitter prior to LIV anymore. Like, what the fuck did we talk about? Like, I know Robert McIntyre would probably be a much bigger deal of him just like firing at 82 and piecing out and making 41 grand because we didn't have anything else to talk about. He would have led this podcast and we would have talked about who withdrew and like like everything, you know.
I'm
It's
not.
like,
I'm not privy. This happened today.
oh, Bobby McIntyre fired an 82 yesterday, which was
Yesterday.
7 shots worse than anyone else in the field. And he came up with a quote unquote injury today. He's safely into next week's field. He gets last place money. There's no cut. Gets 41 grand. Obviously, when you're 7 back of last place, no matter what happens the next 3 days, if you magically find a golf swing, you're not going to do it. So
he took a walk in Memphis.
Yeah, so it's 100 degrees. He's Scottish. Like that doesn't work. It's a billion, the humidity is a billion. And I tweeted out, imagine how rich I'd be if I made 41,000 every time I fired an 82.
When you haven't got a prayer, boy, you got
Yeah.
a prayer in Memphis.
Oh, you got a prayer in Memphis. That would be the lead story, though. It's all we would talk about. Then I would tell the story of Dottie Pepper, who had allegedly had a contract with Dr. Pepper her final year in LPGA and was done, like just done. And often she would just she needed a minimum, a number of starts, and she would just play one round and peace out.
Yeah.
So she could get to the minimum on the thing. It was good. It's a good time.
Well, that used to happen for club contracts too. I don't know if it still does, but you had a minimum amount of tournaments, and people who had no interest in being at a certain tournament would just show up, hit it off the first tee. Or that used to happen to the WGCs too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my knee hurts. Yeah. Knee hurts. That would have let it. And now LIV. Yeah. So LIV, for all the LIV bots who have made it this far, please, we're rooting actually for it to continue and everyone to stay. In fact, more people to come over. Maybe Rory will sign with LIV 2.0. Maybe he likes an underdog story and he'd like to go over there and see what he can do. I'm all in. Here's
a real question for you. Are you disappointed that the final event isn't in Michigan and it isn't a team event?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the serious answer to that is I don't know how you face the players. The two things, and I don't know if this has ever been answered, Mark. Maybe you can think of a time it's been answered. They keep telling me they've said from the get-go that PIF had funded this entire year, right? Like that's what we heard.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck do they keep canceling stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and if I'm a player, that's what I ask. Is like you're telling the media, you're telling everyone that PIF funded the rest of the season. So why have we canceled $70 million in purses? Like, where is that money? It's not going to us. No, I understand everybody's going to say they've made enough. They made the choice, blah, blah, blah. Yes, 100%. But if I'm a player now in the middle of that, I'm like, dude, you've told me that it's been funded. So if I'm a player, that will be the interesting part of Indy is like, what is everyone's feeling? Like they have to be pissed. They just have to be pissed. I'm sure there's people, I know there's players who signed up knowing that it would eventually end like this, right? Like and they're just like, okay, yeah, I made a good run, made a lot of money. But there's definitely players over there who are like, oh, I'm here for the money. And now the money's gone. And rightfully so. In that context, they have a right to be pissed. So, it's a bummer. Now, St. John's the Cardinal is a fine golf course if you want to just go play golf, but it's not a professional venue. I don't know anything about Chatham Hills in Westville, but we're about to find out.
All right, well, pull a few of those guys in the pod. Maybe pull DJ. And DJ, are you disappointed that?
No, DJ is.
Man, I don't even know what you're talking about.
What do you mean?
I'm here this week to hit some golf shots.
It's canceled? Are you seeing? What?
That's all I'm
I have a
here to do.
hotel
That's
up there.
I
I gotta get rid of
Is
that.
there a lake
Airbnb.
around here I can go fishing?
Is there jet skis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure DJ even knows. I might
want to inform him next week.
Hey, DJ, what are your thoughts about this? Might be the end of what, dude? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
To be fair, he probably didn't know that Michigan was the next event anyway. He's like, oh, they got canceled? When is that? Oh, it's next week. Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't know that. Oh man, that's good. You think Gretzky will be there?
Do I think
You
he'll
think
be
Gretzky-
at Indy?
Yeah. You think he's a potential investor? I mean, if you're LIV, you got to go to Gretzky, right? He must know people with a lot of money.
I don't know. I think it depends on what day and what time of day you catch Gretzky.
Yeah, I've heard. You're right. All right. That's it. That was a good pod. This is what I love about this pod. All right, Mark, you're going to the Nebraska Open possibly. That's might be the next event.
Well,
And,
maybe San Juan Open, maybe Nebraska.
Okay. I like this.
You know, we have the foundation event. Not sure if I'll be there for that, but then have to make a decision on Q School here pretty quick. So some moving parts, but we'll look forward to you and Indy next week, and all the content that comes with it.
We'll do it live. We'll do it.
Do it live.
Podcast live from Indy. See you later, everybody.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.